Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Droid Life Show today, episode 186. It's Friday, October 12th. I'm your host, Kellen. With me, Tim. Tim's at.
Hey, guys. How's it going? Tim here.
So, thanks for joining us on this pretty massive week in terms of what we do for a living and mostly why you guys hang out with us all the time. It was Google's big hardware event. That's not to put down like when Samsung announces something or LG or well, Essential doesn't really announce things, but other companies, because like Razer announced a new thing today. It's just like when Google does stuff because they make Android and they make the hardware that we often like. It's like a bigger deal. It's like when Apple. Actually, I shouldn't even say that because Apple events are actually big, whereas like Google's, if you attend them as a press person, they're not really very, very big. Anyways, I don't know where I'm going with this. It was a big week, though. Google announced new phones for the year, new Home Hub, new Pixel Slate, and we were there, so we want to talk about that, recap everything, and let you guys know some thoughts and fill you in on everything that you may have missed. Tim also attended an event. Razer announced the Razer Phone 2, and he's gone hands-on with that, so we'll talk about that. Essential might be building a new phone, so we'll talk about that. We know when the OnePlus 6T is coming now, and Google Plus, the greatest social network ever created, will rest in peace very, very soon. So. Oh, and trivia. Well, we're going to do trivia. We weren't sure if we were doing trivia because we've got so much to talk about, but we're going to try to squeeze it in. It'll be relevant to everything this week, so pay close attention. So yeah, thanks for joining us. Let's start with the Google event. So Google event was Tuesday morning in New York City. I was there for that. Google hosted, it was a decent sized event, usually typical Google size, I guess. So they took the stage and announced, okay, first, before I get into this, we just got our first donation. I have no idea what currency that is. It is from Ryan Kerr 007, and that is 40. What is that?
Come on. You can get it. I believe in you.
I could Google it, but I think you're Googling it right now.
I already know what it is.
I've never seen that symbol before. What is that?
Those are rupees.
Oh, really? Okay. Yes. Awesome. 40. Thanks. Again, Ryan Kerr 007. Really appreciate that early donation. That is what a good start to the show.
What a gentleman.
Indian rupees. Yep. All right, cool. Now I know what that symbol is.
Cody Fred in chat real quick. He said they were shroot bucks. I'm sorry. That's hysterical. Good reference.
I don't know what that reference is either. I don't know anything this morning. Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't watch that. So, all right. So Google event. Google took the stage, and it was Rick Osterloh, who's the head of their hardware division at this point. They announced, Pixel 3, Pixel 3 XL, Pixel Slate, Google Home Hub. That was it, right? There was a new Chromecast, but they didn't really talk about that. So it was just the three hardwares. There was there were no surprises. There wasn't a third phone, Tim. No third phone. No secret notchless third phone.
I thought I had actually broken the code because over on Twitter, I don't know if everyone follows me at Tim Otato on Twitter, but Pixel 3 XL. So if you take 3 and minus that from X in the alphabet, you get U. And so I figured that confirmed. And I think if you subtract 3 from L, you get H. And so I was thinking Half-Life 3 confirmed. And I was going off on a little tangent, but I'm really happy there isn't an Ultra because it doesn't make us look like idiots. Because imagine if there was a third phone and the YouTubers were right.
They're never right.
I know, they're never right.
Conspiracy theorists are never right.
That would have been very bad for us.
It's just so hilarious that this thing ever got movement. There was never a single ounce of evidence that pointed to a third phone. Which is why I never hesitated in talking about all of that stuff. It was so dumb. I hate conspiracy theory crap so much. But anyway, so there's only two phones, Pixel 3, Pixel 3 XL. And they were exactly what we thought they would be because they've leaked since May. I don't know. When did the Russians get a hold of them? In June?
Yeah, I think the Russians got them in June or July. At the
Jesus.
latest? It's been
So
a
crazy.
while.
So Google didn't really, well, I should say at the beginning of the thing, they acknowledged they ran this like sort of YouTuber promo thing that they had put together, spliced together of YouTubers saying like, this thing is leaked, there can't be any secrets and blah, blah. And they ran through this thing kind of as if maybe there was going to be, right? It's sort of what this video could have hinted at. And then they didn't really acknowledge it again after that. Like they ran this little sort of trollish video and then that was it. They didn't come on stage and make a joke about, yeah, these have leaked a lot or this is what you expected. There was nothing else. It didn't really fit with what was going on. Like I thought they were going to make more of a joke about, they didn't. That was it. So Pixel 3 XL. Let's see. I mean, how do we recap this stuff? Something that's leaked for so long. So specs wise, is there anything we didn't know? So it's a 5.5 inch display on the 3, 6.3 inch on the 3 XL. And yes, it does have a giant notch and it houses 2 cameras. One is a wide angle. I mean, this is something that like LG's been doing for a long time, the 2 camera up front thing, right? The RAM really is confirmed at just 4 gigs, which look, the phones should run fine. My Pixel 2 XL ran fine. My Pixel 1 ran fine. Like these things had 4 gig RAM. I think like we feel a little cheaped or something by not having 6, like, or there not being an option to up, like, you know, like if you go 100, because it comes in 64 120 gig storage, either one. I guess like we're so used to like upgrading storage, you get more RAM, and I don't know why you do, but like OnePlus does that now. Samsung's doing that. So at 4 gig base, where everyone else is doing, well, I guess isn't the S9 only 4 gig? You have to get the S9 Plus to get 6 gig, don't you?
Ooh, I don't know right off.
I think
we didn't
so.
do our research.
I think the S9 is only 4, and if you want 6 for the S9 line, you have to go S9 Plus. But obviously, we know the Note 9 is like starts at 6, goes up to 8, right? So that feels a little weird, and we'll talk about pricing in a second. On the back, it is just that single 12.2 megapixel camera. And Google's like, look, our camera's the best, and everyone keeps saying it's the best, so why are we going to do dual, triple, everything? And in terms of improvements on that, it's mostly software stuff, which makes sense because it's one camera and they have to do, but they're adding like a super ultra zoom to it, and they're doing a night sight mode that's supposed to make your night pictures look ridiculous. That's not available yet, by the way. That's coming in an update later. So camera-wise, they're just like, look, we got the best. We're not going to really change much. Okay. Batteries, 2915 milliamp hour in the little guy, 3450 in the big guy. They do have fast charging. They also have wireless charging, which we knew was coming, but that's confirmed. And it's fast wireless charging if you're using a Pixel stand. I should probably look at the actual specs on it because you can probably fast charge on other stands, but the Pixel stand for sure does fast wireless charging. USB-C, of course, no headphone jack, fingerprint sensor, dual front-facing speakers, IP68 dust and water resistance, 3 colors, just black, clearly white, and not pink. Last show we'd had a big talk about whether or not it was pink. Google is calling it not pink, so it's
not pink.
It's not pink. Confirmed, it's not pink.
But it's not sand either.
It's not sand either. Yeah, I don't know. The sand thing, that must have just been like an embedded piece of information on a website that someone thought was sand. I'm not sure where the sand, because yeah, it's called not pink. So pricing, 64 gig model for the Pixel 3 is $799. 128 gig model is $899. For Pixel 3 XL, 64 gig is $899. 128 gig is $999. So that's a $150 jump for the base model from the Pixel 2 to the Pixel 3.
Holy.
It's a $50 jump with the Pixel 2 XL to 3 XL.
Not a fan.
Yeah, so the pricing, I think people are just feeling a little bit like they're not quite getting what they're getting from everyone else.
Yeah.
And part of that is like a specs battle, right? Like everyone's adding 3 and 5 and 10 cameras, and people are jacking up the RAM, and some still have headphone jacks. So I kind of get their argument, like why it feels like it might not quite be worth it, right? Like when the iPhone XR was announced and I trashed it saying like, if this was an Android phone, we'd be making fun of it. Like, while Google, at least put a 1080p display in there, is like, they're kind of pushing that same idea. Like, well, it's just about the experience. We don't need to have the best specs in the world. And Well, I get that. And this will probably be the phone I use because I like the experience on it. We're Android people. Like, we care about value and specs. And I know people keep telling us we don't, but we kind of do. When these things happen, like, we complain about them. And so anyways, the specs are in a couple of areas are a little short. Let's see, availability. You could pre-order the thing right now if you want. Exclusive to Verizon, which is not that big of a surprise, but still sucks. So exclusive to Verizon. You can also buy it from the Google Store and Best Buy. If you order the 3XL from Verizon, it costs $30 more than everywhere else. And we don't know why, because Best Buy sells the Verizon version and it's not $30 more. And Google sells it for the $8.99.99. I don't know why Verizon is jacking the price up by $30, but they are. But they're not on the regular 3. So
gotta make money somewhere.
It's very, very odd. So release date. Do we have an actual release date? I know all the phones are shipping around like the 18th, I believe it is. So that's kind of like your launch date. So basically Google has had these phones ready, which we've known because they've been leaked in Russia for about 17 months. They've been ready to go. So when pre-orders opened, the event wasn't even over. They went open and they said most of them were arriving by the 18th. So it's like a 2-week time. So, yeah, we obviously have reviewing. Like here's the Pixel 3. I'm pretty sure I can show you this. You guys know that I have this. Tim and I also ordered our own because these are review units. We both went clearly white. Mine Pixel 3. I'm sticking to the fact that I said I was passing on the 3XL. Tim's 3XL, both clearly white. Why did we not go not pink?
I think it's ugly. I want to go so far as to say ugly. It's just not. It doesn't resonate, with my spirit.
There's like a sharpness to the clearly white. Tim just murdered his ear.
Pretty much.
There's like a clean sharpness to the white version because you get that contrast of the white and black front, I think. The just black one looks really sleek. I've had so many black phones in my day that I don't really need another one. The just pink comparison to the white, it really just kind of looks a little like an off whitish with a pink hue. So yeah, I don't love the color either. I mean, I played with it for quite a while at the event and it's fine, but the white it's just a really, really clean white. Let's see. So I think that's kind of it for pricing. Verizon exclusive. We knew it was a Verizon exclusive, by the way, because T-Mobile the day before was like, hey, Verizon has the exclusive on it. Come bring it to us or whatever, which was interesting that they would do that like the day before.
Yeah. You want to, can you give like a size comparison? Can you hold the Pixel 3 up next to something else let people see it?
Yeah.
I think people are asking like what, how does it feel in hand, etc.
Yeah. So I do have a case on this thing and,
Take it off.
I know. I don't know if I can. It's really hard.
What? Oh, it's not. Oh,
it's totally not hard. All right. So here is 3 and here's 2XL. And the 2XL is basically the same size as the 3XL. So there's a size difference between 3 and 3XL. Nice. What I will say about the 3, because I know some people are contemplating, like, should I go 3 versus 3XL because of the whole notch thing? It feels small. Now, I've been using a 2XL for most of the year. I think the Essential phone, every time I pick it up, feels small because of that. I've used the Note 9. Like, I feel like every phone's huge. So this phone, to me, feels tiny. And the reason I have a case on it is because it feels so small that I need it to feel bigger. Yeah. So that's actually why I have this case on it, because you guys know I'm not a case guy, but it felt so small and kind of dainty, and I know that it's all glass, and that scares me that I actually did put a case on. So we'll see when my actual own phone arrives if I will continue to do that. Before we keep going though, Alex in the chat just dropped $2 donation. Oh, thank you very much, Alex. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So in terms of size, they feel exactly the same as last year's phones because they are almost identical in size. It's just displays have grown on both. So if you own a 2XL, the 3XL is going to feel exactly the same way in hand. The only difference really is because it has that glass sort of curvature to the back. I don't want to say like the last year's Pixel 2 felt sharp or edgy, but HTC's design on it was a little more metallic feeling than the plasticky feeling 2XL. These both feel just like smooth glass. They feel a lot like a Samsung phone. Maybe slightly smoother than like say the Note 9, but like if you have a S9 in hand, this feels just like a Galaxy S9 to me because it is glass everywhere. So they feel nice. Again, I'm not a huge fan of glass because it breaks, but they do feel nice. Like glass tricks us all, right? And goes, glass is premium. Like we all fall for that because in hand it feels really like sort of jewelish. That's what these phones feel like. All right, so let's talk about this notch for a second.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, so I've seen a couple of people point this out. I wish I knew everyone that pointed it out, but I've seen a couple. I'm sorry, I'm not giving anyone credit here, but I've seen some people suggest. I think I saw it at The Verge. I just can't remember who it was. That in pictures and in video, the notch stands out. Like it's something you see. Like when you're looking at a picture, watching a video, the notch stands out. And then in person, when you're just using the phone, you don't necessarily notice it as much. And I think I would tend to agree. Like as I was using the phone, like I was just playing with it and I was swiping around, you're swiping things down and up and opening apps and whatever and using the camera and you don't necessarily, it's not like it's constantly going, haha, I'm this giant ugly notch. Look at me. It doesn't seem like that. And then you take a picture of it and look at it and you're like, oh my God, that thing is ugly. So kind of like last year with the blue tint gate or whatever the hell that thing was. And we kept saying like, look, people, just get one in your hand and see for yourself if it bugs you. Same thing here with the Pixel 3 XL. If you think you hate the notch, just go like to a Verizon store or Best Buy and play with it for a little bit and see if it really bugs you. Because I kind of don't think it's going to. I mean, you've used a OnePlus 6, you've used a V30, you've used a G7, you've used plenty of notches this year. Like when you use them, right, you just kind of don't really notice it, right?
Well, those notches are a little bit smaller and, and the notification bar is still in the same area. However, with this one, I mean, the notch comes low and notification bar comes low and it's like all centered in the middle. Like it's different, but I'm looking forward to it because I know it's going to have killer camera, killer software, and I'm a total Google fanboy. It's whatever, but I'll be neutral. I'm just saying like the notch it's not going to affect me. I'll notice it, but I don't care.
Yeah,
anyway.
I'm not trying to make excuses for it. I know everyone's throwing a giant fit about this. Actually, before I keep going, 2 donations. Eddie dropped 5 pounds and said, "Is it noticeably faster than the Pixel 2?" Well, it's brand new, so it feels really stupid fast. So at this point, yes, but over the long haul, I don't know. I would say it. Like upgrades. It's a Snapdragon 835 versus 45, which isn't like a huge change, and the RAM's the same. It's Pi, so I don't know. Yes, it feels faster. I don't know if
it feels like a new Pixel phone out of the box. Like they all feel fast.
Yeah.
We'll have to give it a month to really see if it's really. But I mean, it's only got 845 and the same 4 gigs RAM. I don't know if and besides Pi. Like, I don't know if it's going to really be all that different from a Pixel 2 in terms of speed and performance.
It shouldn't be, right? Like on paper, It shouldn't be. So at this point, yes, it feels fast. I don't know if it feels faster.
Nice.
Also, donation Justin Martin dropped $10. Ooh, that's huge. Thank you so much for the $10, Justin. And then Alex with another $2. We got to figure out what the code word it is that we keep saying that Alex is like, oh, there's $2. Because it's like multiple. I feel like Alex did this last show too. You guys it's very much appreciated. Thank you so much for the donations, Eddie, Justin, and Alex again. All right, so I don't know where it was. The notch. Okay, I'm not trying to make excuses for it. I'm just saying that if you get it in hand, use it for a little bit and see if it offends you. And then if it does, like pick up the 3 and go, okay, this doesn't have a notch. This is too small. I guess that's where I fall on this. Just kind of like last year, like it it might bug you online, and listening to everyone complain about it, my guess is it probably won't bug you in person as much. But it is double wide, and it's really big. And it does show. And there's like a way you can kind of hide it in developer settings. That's not like an official setting. And it just kind of moves everything down, and you lose screen real estate. I don't know that I would suggest doing that. So overall first impressions, they're Pixel phones. I'm not gonna lie, when I was at the event filming some of the stuff, I was kind of looking, going, okay, what can I film? I can film the outside because it looks kind of new. And then I got to the software and was like, okay, well, what's new here? So a lot of the stuff is already on Pixel 2 and Pixel X, or Pixel and Pixel 2, because it runs Pi and those get updates, and they've had Pi. Motorola. Google didn't really introduce a whole bunch of new software stuff, and we'll talk in just a second about like some of the stuff they did, which probably will just come to old Pixels anyway. So my first impressions are like, it felt a little boring. Like, it feels nice because it's like new hardware, and that's always fun, but they didn't really change a ton from last year, other than adding glass and wireless charging and a secondary camera. So they feel it feels a little boring, if I'm being brutally honest here. I still like it, but like Samsung is like, check out our Bluetooth S Pen, and like, here's another camera, and here's some other stuff, and some emoji, and like, they're like throw stuff at you, like Samsung and LG, right? They're like DAX and stuff, like, look at all this stuff. Google was like, no, just use the Google Assistant. So yeah, it feels a little boring. I still think they'll probably be the phones that I recommend to people. Like, my family is all like due for an upgrade. They're all on Pixel 1s or Galaxy S7s or something. And I'll probably tell them like, look, well, I've been telling them for a while, like, you should just upgrade to these, just because they're updates and cameras and all that stuff. But so I can't say too much, but my first impressions was I was kind of bored. In a good way.
I was on Twitter this morning, or maybe it was last night. I don't know, but either way, MKBHD tweeted out this video. I don't know where he got it. I don't think he made it.
I think he made it.
Oh, really?
Was it the one about Rick Osterloh?
Osterloh. Yeah. I mean, he gets on stage and says, everything's leaked, blah, blah, blah. And then the crowd is just silent. And then the event ends essentially after 10 seconds. Like, I mean, that was basically what it was like to watch online, because I'm like, I was watching, maybe waiting for a hint of something that's new, maybe that Ultra, and then so it was a pretty brutal event, just because, I mean, everything leaked. I mean, we didn't know too much about Slate.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that, but I mean,
yeah. So
it was pretty rough.
Yeah, the focus for sure. Certainly Google isn't really big into talking about specs, and so they talked a lot about software, and they talked a lot about the camera, because it's the thing, right? Like, we all want the best camera in a phone, and people keep telling them they have the best, and so they were like, yes, let's keep telling everyone. And they brought a bunch of photography people to the event and stuff, because they're really trying to push that angle. Wow, Dave the Cop just dropped $20 on us. Dave the Cop, $20. So thanks for all the good work, guys. Really appreciate your site, and always my first choice for everything Android. And then he threw up a strong emoji. Appreciate that, Dave. That's huge. Jeez.
You guys are killing it.
That's crazy. Thank you so much, Dave. Wow. So they weren't talking about specs, right? They talked about the camera, and then they talked about software stuff. Like, they talked about how like Google Duplex, their like automated calling thing that'll book appointments for you, is coming soon. And then they introduced a new call screening thing, because the FCC won't do anything about all the spam robocalls we get. And then they talked about, what else did they talk about? More Google Assistant. I mean, I feel like all they talk about is Google Assistant anymore, which is fine. I do use Google Assistant, but they talk about digital well-being. So they like added this feature where you can flip the phone over and it goes into do not disturb, but like that'll come to other phones. So it wasn't really a Pixel 3 thing. I guess it was mostly camera talk. And then a couple of the like AI things, which are totally fine. So it was all about software, and then the Pixel stand. So Pixel stand, I actually have one here. I just don't want to unplug it, but Pixel stand, wireless charging, fast wireless charging, brings up a special UI. where it has the assistant access. It's kind of like a mini smart display, so you can access like the weather and your day and talk to it and all of that stuff. It's actually very cool. I actually really, really like it, and we'll probably have one on my desk and one by my bed, because you can like put your phone on it and it's smart enough to remember which stand you put it on, and it'll like wake you up in the morning with like a slow sunrise effect. I mean, it's actually a very cool thing. You can have it do like photo slideshows and stuff. So Pixel Stand, they talked a little bit about that, which is cool. Yeah, it was kind of a weird event.
Yeah, Scott Washington in the chat, he says, allegedly they didn't say the word Android once. Is that true? I didn't know if you want to dive into this, because there's sort of like, there's this thing going on this morning on the interwebs, and from last night, I think that, you know, Android is dying, and that just get used to it, I suppose. But
yeah, so the guys at 95 Google wrote up this pretty long piece about how Google didn't say the word Android once, and what are we supposed to make of that? I don't make anything of it. This is like the most boring take ever, but I don't make anything. Like I just don't really think I care. Like, it was their hardware event, and I guess they could have been like, rah, rah, we love Android. It runs Android. They do that at Google I/O. Like, that's where they talk about Android and how it's improved and evolved and what's new and all. Like, that's where they do that. And then their hardware events, they talk about their hardware. And then when they talk about software, they talk about improvements, which they don't often do these days via Android. They do it via Google Assistant and some of their other apps and services. So, like, Android as the platform, it's kind of been taking a backseat in recent years anyway. I mean, like a couple of years ago, like Samsung stopped talking about Android, right? Like, they don't. When was the last time LG stood on stage and was like, Android? Like, none of these guys do that anymore, right? Like, I think OnePlus does a little bit because they're getting better with updates and Essential. I mean, they only released one phone, but so I don't know that anyone really talks that much about Android. Like, we kind of get it. It runs Android. And so the only thing I think they maybe could have said was, just remember, this is going to get 3 years worth of updates or whatever. And yes, it's running Pi, but Pi's already out. So I don't know. I guess I don't make much of that. I don't think like Android's dying. Maybe they'll rebrand it to Google OS one day. And if they do, like, who cares? It's still the same OS. Again, I don't have a like super hot take on it. I don't really care.
Jonathan Rivera in the chat says, Android has a bad stigma to it with popular culture. I don't know if that's an original thought maybe you just had or something you read, but I don't necessarily see that there's a stigma with Android and pop culture. I think
with the young kids, there still might be.
Maybe they think it's cheaper than iOS or whatever, you know, because Apple is always touting, we've got the world's most advanced operating system for mobile. It's whatever, but just because Google didn't mention Android specifically during one day doesn't take away the fact that they talk about it for 5 days straight, or 3 days straight at an event every year, down at their HQ for Google I/O. And so the focus of this event was not Android. It was made by Google. It's the hardware event, and everything is running Android besides the Chrome OS Slate. Other than that, I mean, they didn't talk about the Home Hub.
They didn't talk about like what OS it ran. And I know with the
doesn't run
Slate,
any OS. Well, it does, but
it runs
it's
a
just
weird
a smart
version of Chrome. Yeah. And they did talk about with the Pixel Slate, talk about Chrome OS, because I feel like on that side of things you have to, because it's a computer, right? Like we still talk about there's a distinction between Windows and Mac. And now Chrome OS, like it's the third platform. So I feel like they kind of have to, but whereas Android, like you either have iOS or Android. I don't know if they need to say, again, like I just don't think they need to talk about it, but maybe it's that's supposed to mean something else. And again, if they rebrand someday to Google OS, I just don't care.
Yeah.
I just don't like it. I just don't, it just doesn't seem like that big a deal. I mean, they already rebranded Android Wear to Wear OS. They keep taking Android away from the names of stuff, which is like fine. I guess I just don't care.
The branding, like you say, I mean, it just does not really matter all that much to me, especially the name Android. I mean, the name Android itself is sort of like 2007 or whatever. I mean, it's just not very cool anymore. So if they want to change it up, make it a bit more appealing to the masses like Google OS or whatever, then I say that's fine. We don't have to change our name. We're Droid Life. So we're not Android Life. We did have a sister site called Android Life, but that's besides the point.
Fun fact.
Hell yeah. Yellow and black. That shit was awesome. Anyway, yeah, I don't think it's that big of a deal that they didn't specifically mention Android. That's my take. And that's also a very boring take.
Yeah, I guess it's something. I just don't. I guess I just wouldn't look too much into it. Because again, if they call it Google S one day, I don't think it matters. It's still Android. It just has a different name. It's like
Exactly.
It's like how I don't know how many other services have changed names over the years, but
Yeah, Scott Washington brings up a good point. He says they changed Android Market to like Google Play Store. What are the implications? And then he's being sarcastic, but
yeah,
he's right.
That name changed a long time ago, and it didn't matter.
Just it encompassed so much more than just Android apps and stuff. I think Google, they're pretty smart. They got some smart people, not the smartest, because they always come up with products and then kill them like 6 months later.
True,
but I feel like they should know what they're doing with one of their biggest kind of money makers. One of them.
Well, and the thing is, I don't necessarily think that anyone, including Google now, is selling phones on Android. They're selling you Google's experience. This is the Google phone. You get all this Google stuff, right? Samsung, same thing. They don't sell you Android. They haven't for years. They sell you on the Samsung experience, which is what it's called now with Bixby and all this stuff. Like that's how, and LG, same thing. They're not selling you, although they have a little bit in the past. They're selling you on their cameras and like that stuff. So other than Essential, who made one phone, and OnePlus, who has a reason to kind of brag about it because they've gotten better with updates and people like their super fast, clean software. But like Motorola tried that approach, right? We run the cleanest version of Android, and we cared. No one else in the world cared. So it's just kind of a marketing thing. I guess I would say I wouldn't look that much into it. And if something changes down the road where they don't call it Android anymore, who cares?
Yeah.
Anyway, but again, you and I just have a really boring take on this, I guess. So,
Man, we're boring people.
yeah. All right, so we'll try to wrap up Pixel 3 here. So the other thing to keep in mind is they announced a bunch of stuff, and a lot of people asked, like, hey, is this going to come to my old Pixel phone? So Google Duplex, the calling thing that will call and book appointments for you, yes, next month will come to Pixel and Pixel 2. The call screening feature, yes, next month, Pixel and Pixel 2. Gmail Smart Compose, which has been on desktop for a while, which will like try to type out drafts for you. That's coming to both Pixel and Pixel 2. Actually, more phones. Like that's just like an Android thing. Playground, which used to be called AR Stickers, which is just a rebranding from Google that means nothing. Is their AR platform that you can put stickers and things in your pictures? Yes, that's coming to Pixel and Pixel 2. They announced some new Google Lens stuff. One in particular is like a real-time, how do I phrase this? It's real-time Google Assistant where you fire up the camera on the Pixel 3 and it recognizes like emails and phones without you having to do anything. That works through the Pixel Visual Core. So Pixel 1 obviously doesn't have that, won't get that. Pixel 2 does have Visual Core, but Google's apparently said it's only a Pixel 3. I think that might change, but camera improvements, the night sight thing, which will do beautiful things with low light imagery, that is coming to the old Pixel phones. There's depth effect adjustments coming to portrait mode. So any phone that has portrait mode, like the Pixel 2, I don't believe the Pixel does. Pixel 2, that'll come. The flip to for digital well-being, I can't imagine that won't come. That's it. So a lot of the stuff they announced as like standout features, they're all coming to old Pixel phones. So if you have like a 2 and 2 XL and you're worried about upgrading, you may not have to. Like if you don't have a bunch of money to just blow and you have a 2 XL and it's still running fine, like you could probably keep it unless you really want wireless charging.
Two things. First, Tech Matter is asking, how is Google Pay? I use Samsung Pay everywhere I go. I'm worried about losing Samsung Pay if I get a Pixel 3. Don't do it. Samsung Pay is a much superior mobile payment service than Google Pay. Just the fact that it has the MST plus NFC, whereas Google Pay runs solely off NFC. So you can't use it at every terminal like you can Samsung Pay. That's the biggest advantage to Samsung Pay. Next question. Muck is asking if audio recording and for video is stereo or mono
I
on the
believe it's
Pixel
stereo.
3. Yeah, I was just going to assume it's stereo. So
I'm pretty sure it's stereo.
I feel like
I'd almost put money on that.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I saw some people at Reddit talking about that this morning because they thought it wasn't, and then someone was like, "No, it is."
Reddit nerds.
I could pull the specs up and confirm that, but
Shout out to Reddit.
shout out to Reddit always.
Shout out to Sean Brink.
Let's see. Titan Security. We haven't talked about this at all. So they announced Titan Security, which is like a little security chip in the Pixel 3 and the Pixel Slate.
That's
About
tight.
that big. Hopefully.
Okay.
Never mind. I wasn't going to say what I'm about to say. Do you want to like fill everyone in on kind of what Titan is? You kind of looked into this much more than I did, but they talked about it a lot. They were like security. It was like the day after they had like a Google Plus breach announced, which we'll talk about later too. But
Yeah, so they use Titan security for their Google Cloud services and all this good stuff. But so what they're doing is they're implementing this chip that helps protect all your sensitive information on device, such as it helps with securing the lock screen. It strengthens disk encryption. It helps protect your unlock credentials, your app data, and the integrity of the operating system code itself. I am not a security expert. This makes me drool a little bit from the mouth, just like out of like, I have no idea what these people are talking about.
I don't really know either. I did not look into it at all, to be honest.
Yeah. However, Google says that the Pixel Slate and the Google Pixel 3 and 3 XL are the most secure products, mobile devices that they've ever released. So there you go. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it.
That's all you need to know, apparently.
Yeah.
Google specs do not actually say stereo. I'm almost I guess I could look in the. I wonder if it says in. I guess I could record something and like really tell you guys if it has stereo.
Yas is asking, does the security chip stop Google from tracking me? No, it does not. Definitely. If anything, it enhances security tracking.
Yeah.
Google needs to know where you're at. I mean, they use your location data for all sorts of goodies. We won't get into here, but
so there's not a setting for stereo. I'm pretty sure it records in stereo. I'll record something and get back to it.
Oh, cool.
All right, so it's secure. We asked if anyone is buying these phones, and 60% of the DL readership said nope, not buying Pixel 3 or 3XL. 22% said 3XL. 20% said 3. I feel like that's low.
Liars.
Yeah, I feel like that's
liars.
low. Yeah, I kind of feel like they're probably lying too.
Yeah, they just
Then
don't want to.
If they all have 2 and 2XLs, they may not feel like they need to upgrade, which I totally would understand.
Yeah, that is a good question. You know, do you upgrade from the 2XL to 3XL, from the 2 to the 3, etc.? I mean, would you do it if it was your life? Say you didn't do this for a living, right? You know, you're Joe Schmo. You're working.
I don't actually think I would. Like, I've been using the 2XL pretty much since it was released, off and on. You know, I'll review a phone for a week or two, and then I've been going back to the 2XL. This is probably one of the phones I've used the most of any phone in recent years, and I still like it. So, if I wasn't doing this for a living, and I was in a position where I didn't have another like $900 to just throw out for a phone, I probably wouldn't upgrade. The 2XL is fine.
There's a trade-in program.
There's a trade-in program. So yeah, you can trade it in on the Google store, and they'll give you $375,
$300,
$300, something like that. So you could get one at a discount, but yeah, I don't know. The 2XL is fine. The camera's still great, and it's getting most of these features, unless you really need wireless charging. So I don't know. If I wasn't doing this for a living and I didn't have $900 to just throw away, I probably wouldn't upgrade. Probably if I had a 2XL.
Yeah, if I was on a Pixel 2, I would definitely get a Pixel 3.
Yes,
however, if I'm on a
different,
Pixel 2XL, I would not upgrade to the 3XL.
Yeah, I don't know if I would either. Yeah, the 2 though, because the 2 has the smaller screen, and it's just I would actually upgrade probably to a 3 there.
Definitely.
But yeah, it's kind of a tough upgrade from year to year. I don't want to say like this is Google's like S8 to S9 year, right? Where nothing's changed that much, and that would be a dumb upgrade, but it feels a little bit like that. So, all right. Anything else with Pixel 3 and 3XL? I know it doesn't feel like we've had a lot of coverage about the phone since the event. Just wait.
Bear with us.
Yeah, with us.
Bear with everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting there. But yeah, I was going to say, well, our units, like our personal ones that we purchased, should be here the week of the 17th.
Mm-hmm. So that's
Something like that.
That's next week, yeah. Right?
Yeah, like late next week. Something like that. Either
Yeah.
way. So plenty of coverage from those.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. So I think, moving on. Moving on.
Moving on.
All right. Google Home Hub briefly is Google's first smart display. It leaked some as well. It does cost $149, which is much cheaper than all of the other smart displays. Like the Lenovo one starts at $200, the big one's $250. The JBL one I think is like $250 or $300, and sometimes it's discounted. So anyway, Google announced its own smart display. And in doing so, they also announced a new UI, which is coming to the other smart displays, but it makes it much more of like a home control system. Like you can swipe down and it gets you like smart home shortcuts and stuff. So you can like toggle your lights without actually having to like yell the Google command. A little bit weird, no camera on it. Like these other ones have cameras, so you can do video chatting and Duo, and that was like a big sales pitch for them. And Google was like, "Yeah, we didn't put a camera because we want everyone to feel comfortable." And it's like, wait a minute, like you sold everyone on these other ones about cameras and video chatting, and you guys aren't even going to put one in. It was probably a cost-cutting thing, but there's like they put some sensors in it though, so it recognizes your room state, like what the lighting is and stuff, and it adjusts the display, and it does some new fancy photo album stuff. But again, all this stuff is coming to other smart displays. I will say the thing is tiny. Like the Lenovo, you have the 10-inch Lenovo smart display also, right? Like it's a pretty big tank unit. Like when I saw the Home Hub, I went, that thing is tiny. Like it's like this big. It's like a 6-inch display or something. It actually looks really, really small, which is kind of good and bad. I mean, if you want to use it to watch videos and stuff, probably not gonna be great. But if you want to just be able to tuck it in a corner or on your kitchen counter, if you don't have a giant, massive kitchen or something, like it would actually fit pretty well. So Home Hub up for pre-order now, again, $149. I believe it also ships around end of next week or something like that.
Dang. Not too impressed. Kind of boring.
Yeah, and it comes in 4 colors, like the new color scheme, right? The like not pink or whatever, and then like chalk and charcoal, and then there's that aqua color that the mini comes in now. So you got 4 color choices, and the price is great. I don't really know how it sounds. I'd imagine it's not going to be the greatest speaker on the planet. Like I'm probably going to get, I think my plan is I'm going to get one to put on my desk here. So that I just have this little mini Google Home display, and then I'm going to put this big guy in the kitchen. And the reason I'm going to do that is like when my child is like watching a movie and I want to watch whatever soccer match is on or NBA is on. Well, soccer's almost wrapped up, at least the MLS season, but NBA is just starting. So when he's doing that, I can like have YouTube TV on like in the kitchen as I'm like making dinner or something. I think that's like the plan. So that's the only reason I'm really getting one, is because I want to move this out there and still have one on my desk. One of the coolest things they announced though was the new Google Home app. Did you get this update yet? It is rolling out, right? The new Google Home app.
I do believe so. I haven't gotten it because I never get anything first.
Okay. I mean, I got it because I was like whitelisted, but so the new Google Home app it's great. It actually turns the Home app into a smart home hub. If you're a smart home person anyway, there's a whole new tab now that lists out all your rooms and all your stuff that's connected. So you can like turn your lights off and on and adjust the brightness and turn your smart plugs off and on and view your cameras and whatever. And it's all like a tap away. What I find interesting about all this stuff that Google announced with it is it gets you a little bit away from asking Google Assistant to do stuff and gets back to touching on things, which I appreciate because I actually don't like shouting at Google Home units. I'd much rather just press buttons. So anyway, that's rolling out now, and it's actually a really, really sweet update.
Nice.
All right, Pixel Slate. So Pixel Slate, this also leaked fairly well, no, it leaked just kind of the last minute. So Pixel Slate is the new Chrome OS tablet from Google. Well, it's their first Chrome OS tablet, but it's not the first Chrome OS tablet, it's just Google's. It arrives later this year. We don't actually have a launch date for this bad boy, which is kind of weird. But it's like super high res tablet that they really bragged about the display. It's configurable all the way from like a crappy like Celeron processor up to like a Intel i7 8th gen or 9th gen, whatever it is. There's a keyboard accessory that you can get that it's actually pretty slick. Like it just docks in there and it's got like the adjustable stand. I mean, we've seen this with like Surface tablets and stuff like that, but their keyboard they bragged about because everyone loved the Pixelbook keyboard. And this is kind of the same. I did type on it. It does feel pretty nice. It's got cameras, and I think they actually mentioned that it's a similar camera to what's in the actual Pixel phones. So if you're a tablet photographer, which hopefully no one is anymore, it should have a good camera in it. It works with the Pixelbook Pen. It's Chrome OS. Chrome OS has come a long way, and we've talked about this off and on, but I would totally use a Pixelbook every single day, except I have to do video editing, and the platform just doesn't have actual video editors that work. And if you're listening and want to try to prove me wrong, I tested them all and subscribed to all their pro subscription options and paid probably like $300 for like every single stupid Google Play Android app that's supposed to be a good video editor. And they all are garbage. Just letting everyone know that. So, but if I wasn't a guy who did video editing, I would totally switch and use a Pixelbook all day, every day. They are awesome. So the Pixel Slate could be great. The tablet thing worries me. Like when I see people using a tablet as like their daily computing device, like a Surface, or some people do iPads, I think, like it just makes me nervous. Like I feel like it's too small to multitask. I don't know. It gives me jitters.
Wow.
Starts at $600. Yeah. Starts at $600, goes all the way up to $1,600 if you go with the i7. So the Celeron version with 4 gig RAM, 32 gig storage, $600. Then it goes up like 700, 800, 1,000, 1,600. And this fully spec'd out one is an i7 8th gen, 16 gig RAM, 256 gig SSD. So
yeah, Scott McDonald is asking if the Slate is already sold out or just hasn't been up for pre-order. It's not available yet.
No,
later.
You can join the wait list, but they just said it's coming later. So it'll probably be like right around the holidays, I'd imagine.
Richard Radner makes
use one.
Sorry.
Oh, go for it.
I was going to say Richard Radner makes a really good point in the comment section. He says, $1,600 for Chrome OS? Ha ha ha. I'm with him. Like, I mean, I get that it's been a improved platform, you know, like it does stand apart now from Windows and Mac OS, whatever the hell that's called now. But $1,600, like I know the hardware is great, but the OS still seems lacking. Like you said, I can't edit videos on it. Like why am I going to pay $1,600 for something that runs Android apps and a browser? Like that doesn't make sense.
We talked about this when the Pixelbook came out and you were on the same train. I'm just telling you, like I can do everything. So I run Mac. That's how I do my daily work, and I multitask and do all this stuff. I could do all of this that I do on the Pixelbook. I'm telling you right now, like it's fast and powerful, and I can do every single thing on it. The only thing I can't do is video. And how many people in this world video? Like Richard Radner is probably not. Richard, are you a video editor? If not, you could totally use it. So I'm just saying, like, I know everyone wants to discount it because it's like, it's just a browser. But it's totally like does everything.
No, it doesn't, because
like
say if I spent $1,600 on a MacBook Pro, it does everything and more. Like that's my point. I mean, the MacBook, why would you get a $1,600 Pixel book or Pixel, whatever the hell, and not get something that can do even more? That's what I don't get.
It never will slow down. Like you could probably use the thing for 5 years and I bet you it won't slow down. The hardware is ridiculous. It has a better touchpad than any MacBook Pro I've ever used. It has a touch display. It folds into a tablet. I mean, we're still talking about the Pixelbook. Like, it actually does more than a MacBook Pro outside of being able to edit videos, which again, no one does except like a handful of us.
Come on.
Like Richard just said, you can't play decent games. That's not true. Google's going to launch Project Stream really soon. Like that. Okay, so that is actually a good point. The gaming side of it, you can't really play games, but you're going to be able to soon with Google's Project Stream. One of those new
Razer Blade 15s or whatever. Like a nice Windows machine for gaming. I mean, you could do way more, I feel like, than you can do on a Chrome OS powered machine. However, everything I'm saying is totally null and void because I haven't really used a Pixel book. I've like seen them, and so maybe I'll have to pick up one of these Pixel Slates and see if it's cool. I don't know, but the keyboard looks kind of crappy. You know, the little circular buttons. Did you play with the keyboard at all?
Yeah, it was actually not bad at all. It wasn't
Not
bad
bad?
at all. Yeah, it's very, very similar to the Pixelbook keyboard in just a slightly different form factor. But it has a full touchpad and stuff. And like I'm saying, the Pixelbook touchpad is better than the new MacBook Pro touchpad I have.
That's interesting. Aaron. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to switch over and talk about Pixel Slate for a second.
Oh, okay. Maybe we
resale.
Weren't we already doing that? We're talking about Pixel Slate.
I was gonna change subjects though, but what was Aaron saying?
Well, Aaron says good luck with resale too of Chromebooks and Chrome OS powered machines. He says MacBooks hold their value, which is interesting because I would never buy a used MacBook knowing what happens to Apple computers after a couple of years. I mean, they just
you've had some bad luck.
Well, they crap the bed for me at least. I mean, they slow down. You gotta wipe them. Reflash the OS.
But so what I was saying too is you don't have to sell it. Like it doesn't slow down. Like
I know
you won't. Like I have,
and it's always updated.
Yeah, in this closet right here, I have the original Chromebook Pixel and the second Chromebook Pixel. I could still use those today. They don't, like Chromebooks don't slow down. That's kind of the beauty. Like I have a couple of old MacBook Pros in there and I'm running a Mac Pro from a few years ago that's garbage. These things are like slow and they're running solid state hard drive. Like they shouldn't, and they do. Like there's something about like other computers, and I'm not a computer guy, so I don't know. Like this shit just slows down. I've never had a Chromebook, at least Google's higher end ones. Like they just run great. So the resale thing, I don't think you would have to resell. All right, anyway, back on Pixel Slate. I was just going to point out, like, I picked it up and it was heavy as hell. And I probably need to pick one up again, but I kind of lifted it and was like, why is this so heavy? Yeah, it was. So as a tablet, that worries me. Like, I don't know if you've held an iPad in a while. Those things are light. Like, they feel like nothing. This thing was a tank. So that kind of worries me a little bit. But I would say if you were thinking about one, you do not need to get the $1,600 one. Like, get the...
Wow. Isn't it one of the most amazing
one.
thing ever, and I can do everything on it?
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying is because Chrome OS, the way it runs, you don't need like stupidly specced out Chrome OS devices. Like you could get the $800 one with the Core M3 processor, or even go with the 1,000 Core i5 to at least have it be decent. So that's kind of the nice thing about. But again, I don't know that I would buy this as my normal.
Which model are you recommending to people for them to buy?
Well, I would probably go the $1,000 i5. I don't know why you would need the i7 with 16 gig RAM. It's Chrome OS. Like they sell cheap ones with like $180 Chrome OS devices with like 2 gig RAM and 64 gig storage, and they run fine. So I don't know why. Like that was one of the things that Google always did, like with the Chromebook Pixel and the Pixelbook, and now this, they offer all these like next gen specs that you see in like MacBook Pros, and I always kind of went, why does this need that? You don't need that in there, but I don't know.
Okay, so you're $1,000, huh? Sheesh.
As someone who absolutely loves the Pixelbook, 100%, I think they're great devices. And you just have to get over this idea that you're just running a browser.
But this is a tablet. Why am I going to spend $1,000 on a tablet?
I mean, the tablet thing does kind of work. Because I'm with you. I don't know. The tablet.
Because then I have to buy the keyboard at $200. So I'm looking at a $1,200 investment.
That's the thing I guess I didn't point out.
So
if you go the $1,600 one and get the keyboard and get the pen, you're at like $2,000 almost. Wild.
Google is smoking that crack.
Google's crazy. Google's crazy.
That's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, good luck. I'm not.
All right. The other thing they didn't announce but was new is the new Chromecast, which we've talked a little bit about. We knew it was coming. It's the 3rd gen Chromecast. Comes in white or black, or is it chalk or black? Chalk or charcoal? Chalk or charcoal?
Chalk or charcoal? Yeah.
It looks so much sleeker and nicer, and who cares, because it hides behind a TV and you never see it. But it does look nicer. It does 1080p now, which apparently the old ones didn't, which I didn't realize. It's so crazy. They improved some performance. It has Bluetooth now, I believe. It's not really that big of an upgrade. Chromecast is aging. They just need a cool Android TV box.
Well, they need a new Nexus player is what they need. Well, Pixel player.
Yeah,
so next year,
Pixel TV.
Pixel TV works.
Something.
Although,
Google
well, they
Home
got
TV.
YouTube TV.
Should be
that
Google
could be
Home
kind of
TV.
Yeah, maybe. Well, they need to just make their their own TV like OnePlus. You know, I mean, why not?
That's true. All right, so I think that's it from the Google event. Not sure what else.
Bye, Google.
It was a totally fine Google event.
Totally fine.
I walked away going, and it's probably just because of the leaks, but I walked away kind of thinking, this is not like boring, but it all leaked so heavily that we knew every single thing that was coming, and there were zero surprises. Like one of the coolest things I walked away with was a Pixel stand. Like it's a wireless charger, but because we didn't know that much about it, we haven't seen it before, like that was kind of fun. Otherwise, like the Pixel Slate, like you can't even buy the thing. It's coming later, so it can't really get too excited about that. The Home Hub is like this tiny little dude. Not that that's a bad thing, but we've seen smart displays. And then the Pixel 3 and 3 XL, they've just leaked so much, and everyone's so down on them for pricing and the notch and all that stuff. Like, I feel like there's less excitement. And again, that's probably just because of all the leaks. So it's also kind of a wild month. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Oh, goodness gracious. This month is insane.
Chris in the chat says the speakers were stumbling a lot, seemed even more awkward. Yeah, there was some hiccups, that's for sure. It wasn't quite as smooth, I feel like, as some of the Google events in the past.
I hate when people try and do the Google Assistant demos. They're like, okay, hot word, and then like they're like, oh wait, like it's already prompted and stuff. Like, this is not a demo. You're just walking through slides. I hate this.
Yeah, there was a pretty bad one early on with the Home Hub. The dude on stage said the okay hot word and it didn't happen. And then I think he was late and then he was catching up and it just was like, you just, like, if you don't nail that, the whole thing's screwed up. And then some of the Pixel presenters had their issues too, like talking when they weren't supposed to be. And it wasn't the smoothest, that's for sure.
I mean, yeah.
What are you gonna do?
I mean, live events, that stuff happens.
Things happen all the time. This one seemed a little rockier, but
maybe because we knew everything. It was just, They should have just made up something. Like
they should have just joked about it more. They should have made more light of the situation instead of just talking around it all. They should have made some more jokes about it, I feel like. Yeah. Anyways, it's coming on, and we got reviews coming. Home Hub coming. Pixel Slate someday. There's some stuff happening. I feel like everyone's going to be more excited about the OnePlus 6T than anything. Okay, so speaking of the 6T, October 30th is now the official date. I don't know if that was announced last week when we did a show. October 30th event date, and then it goes on sale like a week later or something.
That's going to be a pretty popular phone, I think.
I think so too, especially if T-Mobile's involved. I think people are going to be pretty excited about the 6T because it doesn't have a giant notch. It has a little dip, just a little dip, and it has an in-display fingerprint reader. So people are going to be excited about that. The problem is the Pixel 3, even 2. Everyone's just going to go, but the camera on the OnePlus, it sucks. It probably won't suck, but it's not on the level of like Note 9, Pixel. I just know it won't be. They're not. That's
not their game.
It took Google like 8 years to make a phone with a good camera. OnePlus has had a number of years and they haven't quite gotten there yet. So
Google used to make the worst cell phone cameras. I don't know if you guys remember the
Nexus 5.
What was that? The Nexus 4. Oh,
that was bad. Yeah.
I think it was terrible.
But the Nexus 5 was supposed to be one of the first. Well, the Galaxy Nexus was supposed to be great because remember how it was just instant. They bragged about how fast it was. Remember the Galaxy Nexus was one of the first where you could just like go tap 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 and it would just snap. But it was like a potato. The Nexus 4, was pretty bad. But the Nexus 5, that was when they brought in OIS the first time and it didn't do anything. It was so bad. And then they ditched OIS, I think, at some point. And I don't know. I don't even remember the Nexus 6. I think I used Shamu for all of like a week and then was like, get out of here.
That phone was bad.
Yeah.
And it was just
it wasn't bad. It was just too big. It was too big.
It was way too big. Yeah. That's what I mean. It was bad.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Moving on. Razer 2. Tim went to Razer's event. Razer 2. What do we need to know about the Razer 2?
You need to know a lot, apparently. So I went down to Hollywood I was a big Hollywood kid for about
were.
5 hours.
You sure were.
Flew down in the afternoon and left that evening. It was brutal. Anyway, love Southern California. It's a great place. Plenty of awesome Dodgers fans. Just kidding.
You love
Just
them.
kidding about that.
Sorry,
Yeah, I love
somebody
them.
didn't try to beat you up.
I know, right? Well, I specifically did not wear my Giants hat
I was
because
gonna say, or is it the other way? Which one murders the other one, or do they each murder each other?
Well, I mean, that's not funny to joke about, but yes,
I know
the
it's not.
Dodgers.
I'm just saying,
I know
like,
it's the Dodgers fans who usually
bad.
beat up on the Giants fans, if
Okay.
I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Anyway,
Again, I'm not joking about that. I was actually being somewhat serious. Like
I know.
I know,
It's
like that's how
dangerous.
heated that like rivalry.
it's heated. It's a good rivalry. After 100 years, still going strong. So, Razer Phone 2, I've got it, and yeah,
That's right. It runs Nova Launcher. I forget that.
Oh, baby. Yes, it does run Nova Launcher Pro out of the box. So Razer is kind enough to buy you a license, which I think are still like $5 or something.
Probably. Yeah.
Not bad, dude. This Chroma LED on the back is sick. Like I really dig it.
You actually do kind of like it, but you have to put the phone face down, don't you?
Yeah. So I never see it. I'm just saying, like when I hold it up, I'm like, oh yeah, this thing is sick.
Oh, yeah.
But I never get to see it because I'm always looking at the screen or something.
Right.
It's always facing away from me, and I never put a display face down. So that's
I
just
don't know
me.
who does.
I don't know. Bunch of weirdos.
Samsung tried to get people to do that for a while when they had the edge lighting. They were like, if you put your phone face down with these edge phones, and they would light up colors. And I was like, who puts their phone face down? You can't
Yeah.
do that.
I don't know. Real quickly, Dave the Cop, our generous friend, he's asking if the speaker grills are plastic. I don't know. They're either plastic or a very light metal. I don't know. So here's what you need to know, though. Snapdragon 845, 8 gigs of RAM, 5.7-inch Quad HD, IPS LCD, 120 hertz refresh rate, dual rear-facing cameras, both 12 megapixel, one wide, one telephoto, USB-C on the bottom, no headphone jack. You got the fingerprint reader on the side that doubles as the power button. That Chroma LED, like I said, 4,000 milliamp hour battery. So if you watched my hands-on and impressions video yesterday, shameless plug, you'll know that this phone is a beast. It's a tank.
It is a tank.
It's got all the specs you'd want, and it's got the water resistance. It's got wireless charging. So while it does look the same, it's got quite a few differences from last year. And I actually have last year's right here, and I can show you. They're freaking identical, minus the back, of
The
course.
back's different.
Yeah. Other than that, it's a solid device. Is it my kind of device? Nah. Like I take my mobile games pretty darn seriously, but even this phone seems overkill for me. Not overkill in the sense that I don't appreciate all the specs, the 120 hertz displays, etc. But it's too bulky. It's way too bulky. I gave it to my girlfriend last night. I said, "Yo, what are your impressions? I need that." She said it's too wide, it's too big, and I totally agree. Like, you cannot use this phone with one hand. At least my piano finger hands, like long fingers, but like just sort of I'm too nimble. So
It looks
very
like
hard
a
to
big
use.
ass phone, yeah.
It is. It's huge.
It's
So
does that have
while
always
it
on
lo-
display?
no, it's it's an ambient. It's definitely not always on. Like if you have a
it
notification
just lights up if
coming-
you get a notification. Okay, because it's
Yeah.
an LCD. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, they do not give always on. There's a few things like it could, I guess it could be better, but if you're not a fan of the hardware, you're not gonna have a good time. If you do like the hardware, you're gonna absolutely love it.
I know you
So-
can't probably say much about this, but did they
True.
say that the cameras are improved? Because the cameras were
did.
terrible last year.
They did say that the cameras are improved. I can tell you that. I can't really take a lot of shots yet because there's other reasons, but they say that there is an update coming to these
Okay.
review units. So hopefully it'll get better. So either way, we're waiting to find out.
Robert
And
in the
you'll-
chat asked, "What's the price?"
$799, same price as last year's, which is pretty awesome. I mean, they didn't up the price, yet they gave you water resistance. They hopefully gave you improved cameras. You got a brighter display. I mean, they gave you
Wireless charging,
Chroma LED.
yeah.
Wireless
They did
charging,
upgrade
exactly.
some stuff.
They upgraded some stuff. The speakers, I stumbled across a weird thing last night to be specific. I was playing some music. These speakers get loud, mind you. I cranked it up, I was probably listening to Morbid Angel or something probably really heavy. Anyway, the speaker started cracking.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, there it goes. I freaking busted it after like one day. But then I turned it down. I let it kind of settle. And then I started lifting it back up and it wasn't cracking anymore. So I would just say,
You gotta break them in a little bit.
yeah, maybe break them in a little bit before you just go, kind of like a new car. You don't want to go over 4,000 RPM for an extended period. So until you reach a certain mileage.
Richard asks, is the screen brighter? Isn't it like 50% brighter than last year's or something like that?
I don't know the exact
It's
nits.
they did put a number on it, I think, but it is supposed to be much brighter.
I think they put like a range of 500 to 600. What I can tell you is that it is brighter than last year's, just from looking. I put the same wallpapers on it, and like you can just tell that the Razer Phone 2 is brighter. So, and they do have a sweet wireless charging dock, which they did not provide me.
It lights up and stuff, doesn't it?
Of course, it lights up.
That's everything.
It's this Razer we're talking about. Everything freaking lights up.
I was hoping they gave you one.
Yeah, I know, me too. They gave everyone hats. This is not it. They gave everyone hats that attended, and I was really expecting the hat to light up, but it doesn't.
Little LED light in the hat.
Yeah, a little chroma
Bluetooth
RGB
hat you can control.
Yeah.
All right, pre-order it now. When's it coming?
Coming this month, I think October 17th or something.
That's next week. So Google's phones and that all next week.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sorry, I don't have the specific. This has been a long week, and there's a lot to think about.
It's been a long week.
I could have sworn I wrote it in the announcement. I may.
Oh, here's something.
I may not.
So the specs for people wondering about connectivity. The specs LTE bands list that it works on Verizon. Like, of course, AT&T and T-Mobile, and the specs show that it supports Verizon band 13, and like I believe like 4 and 5 are on there too. So like everything that works, but it doesn't have CDMA radios in it, which is fine because Verizon's gonna like sunset CDMA pretty soon, and phones don't necessarily need that now because they do all calling like over LTE at this point anyway. But I don't know that they've said like officially like it's a Verizon certified or supported device. It should work according to the specs, but I don't know that they're actually saying like this totally works on Verizon. It's certified, because like Verizon, like was it the Xperia XZ2 Compact? Like it got certified for Verizon. I think an HTC phone got certified. So I don't know that this is, but it probably could work on Verizon.
Yeah, I was told from like the head of corporate PR, at least for this stuff, for mobile, that the phone should work for Verizon, but that I should test it. So,
which is like the funniest thing ever. Yeah. Yeah, it should. You should just test it. No. You're supposed to tell me.
Tell me, does it work? Like I don't have a Verizon SIM, so I can't test it. But
it should.
It should work. You test it. Don't ask us. You test it. And you tell us if it works.
Just tell me. Yeah.
I know.
Dude. Anything else to know about Razer Phone?
No. We'll have, a full review later this month due to other things. But if you guys have any questions, I can try and answer the best of my ability. I can't go into like great detail with performance or anything like that quite yet. But if you have any general questions, I can definitely help you out. So hit me up.
All right. Bro. In the biggest news of the entire world, actually, it's disappointing a little bit. Essential is apparently now building another phone. I don't know if it's the Essential Phone 2. It's apparently an AI type of phone. Bloomberg reported this week that Andy Rubin and the homies are actually working on a new phone, and it'll try to like send emails for you and respond to texts for you. And that's all we really know. It may be a little bit smaller, not necessarily like a big old normal phone. It might also just be sort of a companion to your current smartphone. It's like there was this giant high of, oh my God, Essential Phone 2. And then it just was like, as I read the article, was like, okay, this sucks. Oh, this, no. Okay, moving on. So there's apparently a new Essential Phone in the works, but it doesn't sound like anything I want any part of. I don't need a companion phone. I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but I don't need a companion for my phone. It already does lots of stuff. And if it's like a little mini AI bot thing, I sure as hell don't think I need that. obviously that could change when this thing, if it ever becomes a real thing, and maybe they'll sell me on it being awesome, but there's some automation I just don't think I need. Like, I don't need it responding to text for me.
They just need a phone with a decent touchscreen and a good camera, and the thing would sell like crazy. Like, why are they trying to reinvent the wheel?
I don't know.
I don't get it.
I don't know. What I found interesting about the article was, like in June, we heard that the Essential Phone 2 was canceled and they were going all in on their stupid home hub thing that's never going to be released. And then this says now they've like pushed that aside. Now they're making an AI phone because AI is what we do. So I don't know what the hell.
Where are they coming up with this money? Like, who is investing in them?
They got a bunch early. Remember, they were valued like $1 billion or something.
Yeah, that went away real quick.
Yeah, it probably did.
Come on, man.
Who knows what they're doing?
They're selling their phone for $250 that like originally launched for $700 or whatever. I mean, like, there's something going on here.
Yeah, this is true.
Like, is Andy injecting his own cash into this company or what?
No idea. I think a bunch of their engineers, have left. I think that's what Bloomberg article said. They were working on that home hub thing. Because remember, the home hub was supposed to connect to everything. It was supposed to connect to Smart Kit or Home Kit, whatever the hell Apple's thing is, and Google Home and Alexa. It was going to do everything. And everyone in the industry went, that's never going to happen. You're never going to convince all three of those people to let you access their stuff in a device with their competitors. Like, there's no way. Like, Andy Rubin would have to put on his old sales hat and talk Apple and Google and Amazon into doing. There's no way. So that was gonna fail from the beginning, but it apparently has now failed.
I don't know who that executive was that went around posting those terrible camera shots from these, but you could let him go, save his salary, and put it towards development of something. I mean, that just was not a smart play. I don't know what he was thinking.
That was my favorite thing, actually.
Yeah, you get fired.
Speaking of that phone, though, the Essential Audio Adapter HD, the high-end DAC that attaches to the back of the Essential Phone, cleared the FCC this week, which means they can now start selling this thing. We don't know how much it'll cost or when that'll happen, but they did say it was coming soon. Once the FCC's done, it's done now.
Well, let's see. The phone's $250. I got to assume the DAC's got to be like a nickel, a dime. I don't mean, like, how much can you really sell it for?
Yeah, it's a kind of a tough sell on a phone that's now over a year old and doesn't have a follow-up. So you invest in, I don't know how much this thing's going to cost. I hope it's not more than $100. But if they want like $200 for this, like as much as the phone, it's like machined titanium and it's got a DAC and an MQA rendering and audiophile grade amp. Like, it has all the stuff. It could be cool. It seems a little late. And one of the things about like buying into a modular system is you kind of hope that you can take those with you to the next phone, and there is no next phone. So, but it's coming soon.
It's ridiculous.
Essential Phone people do love their Essential Phones, though. But I don't know how much longer they're going to hang on to them. That's the only thing.
And I really understand where they're coming from, too, because you and I both know, I mean, the hardware is legit. I've got it sitting right here. I look at it all the time, just like holding it. And I'm like, man, why can't other phones feel like this?
It's just always right there. Just pick it up every once in a while. Just go, oh.
Yeah, because wallpapers never looked as good as they do on the Essential Phone. Like, every wallpaper looks freaking amazing.
That is correct. Look, here's a giant hot air balloon. It looks great on that.
And it looks fantastic. Yeah. So I get why people love their Essential Phones. Yeah. And I just wish Essential would have put out a better product for those people. Like, I feel their pain.
Yeah.
So
at least they all got it at a ridiculous discount.
I hope so. Some of them may not have. If they were early adopters, they got screwed.
Actually, no, they made up for it slightly. Remember, like, so this one, because I bought an original,
yeah,
and which I think you might have now. But remember, they did like a big price drop pretty quickly after because no one was buying it, and then they sent the early adopters. It was like $300 off or something, or $400. It was something crazy, and they sent me like a big discount. So this white one I got at that discount.
So
still not at the cheap price that it is.
It's not a discount at all. I mean, you just gave them more money for the same.
No, I know, but they give you a
get-
discount on it. But you're right. I did pay then, instead of just the one time 700, I paid like 1,000 for two.
They conned you into thinking that you were getting a good deal. That's really good.
The problem was that I wanted the white from the beginning, because remember, this was delayed. All you could get was the black one, and you know me, I get obsessed about these stupid things, and then
the ceramic and it's a really hot phone. And someone mentioned that why not just have someone else build like a ceramic and titanium phone or whatever. OnePlus tried it with the OnePlus X, and it was very fragile, and there was something else wrong with it. I don't think it
didn't have LTE.
No, it didn't. Yeah. And it didn't come to the American. No. And if it did, there was no LTE. So there was problems from.
Think about that. They released a phone without LTE.
And they released a phone with no NFC. And I don't know.
That same year, they both came out at the same time.
God, that was embarrassing.
Brutal. All right. So anyway, that's our essential phone news probably for the next year. Yeah. Final topic: Google Plus. Google Plus consumer is shutting down.
Bye.
If you follow us on Google Plus, you may have noticed that we haven't posted anything there in about 4 or 5 days. And there's a reason for that. We have given up on it. So the Wall Street Journal on, what day was that? The 8th, Monday. So Monday, the day before Google's event, Wall Street Journal posts up, hey, Google had a potential data breach at Google Plus, and they tried to conceal it internally and not let anyone know. And it affects up to like 500,000 people. And like the numbers were really big and sounded scary. And at the same time, to potentially try to diminish the Wall Street Journal reporting, I'm assuming, Google released their own sort of report or blog post on it. And they admitted that, yeah, like there was a vulnerability. They didn't say there was actually a data breach. They said there was a vulnerability in Google Plus where a certain API, if accessed from a developer, could let people access profile information, even if they had set it as private. And that profile information was, let's see, where was that? It was like your name, your email address. Where is that? I have it, I promise. I'm gonna have to Google search.
Come prepared, please.
I know I should have this stuff. Okay, name, email address, your occupation if you had that, your gender and age. So that's it. So it wasn't like passwords and your credit card and any of that stuff. Still,
people kept their credit card on Google Plus.
I don't know. I'm just saying, like it wasn't like attached to your Google account where they could access passwords or that stuff. So Google said that's all that was there, and they said they have no evidence that anyone did access, and they don't think any developers even knew this vulnerability was there, and blah 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 blah. So anyway, it sounded really bad, and it affected apparently up to about 500,000 people, and Google's not worried, but if you are, that's totally understandable. But what Google's going to do, though, is because they just don't want to deal with it, they essentially admitted that they've been neglecting Google Plus and that it wasn't that great and that the support, they weren't offering any. So they kind of blame that for it. So they're just going to shut it down. So for consumers, it will shut down by August of next year. So
that's too long.
So if you're using it, you have a little bit of time to like get your data out of it or whatever. I already went through like deleted all my my like personal profiles on there. I was like, I'm just gonna I just deleted them. Like, what do I need this for? I hadn't touched them in years. The only one we used was like the Droid Life brand account. So anyway, next year, just no one uses the damn service anyway. It's just filled with like bot spam and porn and crap like that. It's been bad. It's been bad for a really long time.
I would like to take just a few seconds to try and play this sound clip just for the death of Google Plus. Yeah, that sad violin meme. Anyway, doesn't matter.
So, anyway, Google Plus. See you later, Google Plus.
It's been real.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's gonna miss Google Plus. Is anyone?
I don't think so.
We had a chat like, oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had like 3 people go, what? You can't stop posting here. It's still around for a few months. And we're just like, we don't care.
Yeah.
Scott Washington just dropped $5 donation in the chat. Says, why the F doesn't YouTube Music work with Android Auto? I love YouTube Music. Not that I use it. I love it more because it's like the stupidest thing ever. It's their new service. And actually, during the Pixel event, they announced like you can get free YouTube Premium, which I think includes YouTube Music. And they tried to show a demo of YouTube Music, and everyone just kind of rolled their eyes. But like, the app still doesn't have all of the Google Play Music features that they told us it was gonna get. Right? It still doesn't have any of those. It didn't import anyone's library over or anything, so they still haven't done that. It, like as Scott just mentioned, it doesn't work with Android Auto. There's something else too, like a newish feature. Oh, so like Google Maps, right, just got music integration. So like Google Maps, you can control Google Play Music, Apple Music, and Spotify, but not YouTube Music. Like, isn't this the future? It was such a stupidly botched launch from them with YouTube Music. That's another one of those things I still just don't get. Just take Google Play Music and just rename it to Google Music. Just do that. Just get rid of the play so it's not confusing. Just make it Google Music, and this YouTube Music is just stupid. So Scott, I don't know. I doubt that's ever going to happen.
Thank you for the 5.
Thanks for the $5. All right. That was a lot of topics. I think that's all of them, though. Oh.
Damn.
Tired already.
We did have a couple people asking if we're going to touch the Poco phone. Nah. Like every YouTuber in the world has already done the Poco phone, and we're not about that life. Sorry.
Yeah, the Poco phone, it's not, you have to import it, don't you? You have to like buy it from like one of those weird importer sites, and the Poco phone thing we never really got on, the Poco phone. Yeah. I know it's like a Xiaomi brand or something. I don't care.
Tom Luley is asking which one of us will be reviewing the 6T. If I had my way, we'd both be reviewing the device. In fact, I
think we might be able to.
We might be. Yeah.
Double team the 6T.
We'll see. No promises.
We will try. Yeah, no promises. We never know with them, but hopefully we'll both be able to. You never know these days. Sometimes these things are just a crapshoot when it comes to what we're getting and who we're getting it from.
Yeah, Larry pointed out that I dabbed on Poco. I don't know why I did that.
You did dab on Poco. eBay, weird importer site. eBay is a weird importer site because the people selling those are weird importers.
Hey, man.
Burtser's like, I buy all my Sony phones from that weird importer site, eBay, Kellen.
Well, wasn't it Burtser? It was someone else who didn't know that you can like actually buy stuff from like there's a marketplace on eBay. They thought it was just
it wasn't Burtser. I don't know who that was, but I think that guy never came back because he got shamed so bad. I actually feel a little bit bad about that. Yeah, the guy said, you can't buy new things on eBay. And like the collective, like, what?
What?
You've been able to buy new stuff on eBay for years, brother.
That was good stuff.
Poor guy. I mean, he just like ran. He didn't even comment back. He's like, I'm out of here. You guys are mean.
Yeah. And then real quickly, Rashad brings up a really good question. He says, what happened to video reviews? I'll let Kellen handle that, but I think we just discovered that our channel isn't really about video reviews. There's a lot of other channels that do video reviews, and I think we're just going to take a different angle to videos, like impressions or hands-on tips and tricks, stuff like that. I mean, video reviews take a long ass time too.
Burtser, we know it wasn't you, it was somebody else.
Sorry, Burtser.
Yeah, the video, so video reviews, just to like look at our thinking. So when we started doing those, we were like, let's do video review. We're having more fun doing video. Let's add to content by doing video for the people who don't want to read or whatever. And so we looked at trying to do both. So there's like multiple things here. We're 2-person team. So often writing up a review, because those take like a day, and then doing a video review is hard to do. Sometimes we also both don't have the same new phone, because what we were trying to do is like Tim would write, I would do video, or I would write, Tim would do video. Like we would try to do so. But if we don't both have the phone, then one person doing an entire written review and then doing a video is like too much to add. You'd be doing it all week. So kind of related to that, it takes like an entire day sometimes and then some to do a video review. You have to write a script, you have to film it, edit it, get it ready, right? So the time it takes to do those, it takes a lot. And why I'm pointing that out is because by the time we often get them posted, we're like the 100th site to post a video review. They don't do that well on YouTube, and then it just doesn't seem worth it. So I know that's a long-winded answer, but the time it takes to film and do a video review, because of all the other stuff we do writing all day long, it didn't really seem worth it. And so if you're not the first reviewer to post a video review, you kind of just get pushed aside. And when people like The Verge and MKBHD and those like really, really, really huge channels, when they post the stuff, even if you're like before them, they get the algorithm and likes and all that stuff, and they go to the top, and you just get pushed aside anyway. So it's kind of a long-winded way, but so reviews don't work.
We don't do them anymore. Is what
so there's a chance we could do it for Pixel phones, but I kind of doubt it. I like our coverage is our coverage is more how to do stuff with your phone. Like our video stuff is often just more how-to stuff. Is kind of how we built our channel, and we're kind of keeping it that way. I think we tried to get into let's do some fancy reviews because it's kind of fun, and it was just a massive amount of work that a 2-person team, it's hard to do. So
2-person team, that's a good point.
So if you do miss those, we apologize. Like maybe someday we'll find a way to do it. We've got some ideas on how to make just sort of shorter versions, but they're just a hell of a lot of work. And in the end, like we did this because we like writing reviews. Like that's what we do, is we write. So
Tom Lilly says he needs to find the old Droid Life show when Marquez was on. So for that, I think you're going to have to find, like, just search Tato. I think that was like my show episode. That was like Tato show, MKBHD. It should be the first thing that pops up.
Yeah.
Very cool. Alan asks, is Tim ever planning on leaving? No way, dude. DL's my home. I'm here till death.
Oh, Larry's asking if we're doing trivia. Are we doing trivia today?
Yeah, we're doing trivia.
We should probably do that. We've already been going like an hour and a half. Larry's like, I'm waiting.
I know. Well, Larry better win. Trying to talk all this.
All right, yeah, we're doing trivia. I know we haven't talked much about the trivia because we thought the show would be 18 hours long, but whatever, we're doing it anyway. Trivia dance. All right, trivia. If you're new around here, we do trivia at the end of almost every Droid Life show. We do 5 questions, sometimes related to the show, sometimes just Android in general, and we give a prize to a winner for each of those 5 questions. So 5 questions, 5 winners, 5 prizes. This week, you could just win $10 in Google Play credit if you answer correctly. You have to be watching and listening live. You post in the YouTube chat your answer. First person to post correctly the question we ask is the winner. Nice. That's pretty much it. And then we'll work out at the end of the show how to get you your prize. So yeah, $10 in Google Play credit to each winner. And or
iTunes if you have an iPhone. That's fine. We can do either. Just to be clear. I guess I'm about ready. Very cool. Alan says y'all need to do a podcast about like news, sports, politics. I don't know if anyone would want to listen to us talk about politics. We're pretty. Kellen would just go on and on. I'd be like, yep.
Yeah, I don't think the sports stuff would be kind of fun, but there's like a million people with much better credentials than us that talk sports and politics. Like, sure, we have our opinions just like all of you guys do, but in the end,
talk about soccer and stuff, and that doesn't get views.
Yeah, I talk about soccer and Tip would just like take a nap.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Let's do trivia.
Lower your streams. 140 audio only. Do what you gotta do.
What we gotta do to get that instant reaction.
Oh, here we go. Okay, right, let's go with question number 1, please.
Question number 1, going up now.
What is the listed US dollar price for a completely spec'd out Pixel Slate, which includes the 16 gigs of RAM? Oh boy. What is the listed US dollar price for a completely spec'd out Pixel Slate, including the 16 gigs of RAM? I am showing Evan Brown. With the correct answer, $1,600 or $1,599. We were accepting both. So, Evan Brown, congratulations. Winner of some sweet Google Play credit.
Sweet Google Play credit. $1,600. Totally worth it.
It does everything.
It does everything except edit and play video games.
That's cool. Good. I'm glad we're on the same page with that now. Okay. Evan Brown. Very nice. Good stuff. Let's go with question number 2, please.
Question number 2, going up now.
What is the battery size of the Pixel 3 XL? Again, what is the battery size of the Pixel 3 XL?
Oh my God. This should be an interesting
Scott
one.
McDonald. I'm seeing Scott McDonald with the correct answer of 3450.
So,
what are you laughing
this
at?
is there was like a press release that said 3450.
Uh-oh. Are you telling me that's the wrong answer?
Well, so it's like shifted. When it leaked, it was 3430 forever. And there was like a press release that said somewhere that it was 3450. And I'm looking on the store site right now, and it says it's 3430.
Oh my God.
Oh man. We should probably reward like the first 3450 and the first 3430.
Yeah, absolutely. So Scott, regardless, Scott's gonna get that sweet Google Play credit. Who else? Who's the first with 3430?
Nick Fisher was.
Nick Fisher. And we apologize for this ghastly error.
I gotta look back because
I remember when that happened. Like it was right when the announcement was going on. I was like, you sure about this battery? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, you're like, battery size changed a little bit.
I had it at 3430 and then I read it somewhere. I swear it was on their store. So I'm telling you, they edited it. Somebody edited it out from under me.
So 3430, yes, which means Nick Fisher.
Yeah.
All right, Nick Fisher, congratulations. Apparently you're a winner too.
I'm telling you. It changed. It was 3430 forever. All the leaks said 3430. And then when I looked at Google's site, the minute it went live, it was Project. Oh, I'm looking this up now.
Yeah.
Looking it up, Tim.
And Rick, I do see your answer of 3430. It is on our end. You were slightly slower than Nick. So we're sorry.
I'm just confirming this real quick. I think it was on the Fi site because it went on the Fi site first. I just want to know where I got it wrong from. Yeah. The Fi site says 3450. That's why I changed it. So the Fi site says 3450. It is 3430 on Google's site, just so you know.
3430. All right.
Screenshot this. Screenshotted. So everyone knows that Project Fi says 3450. Okay. Now that that's awkwardly out of the way.
Yeah, that was fun. Cool. Well, hey, I mean, just more winners. You know,
everybody's a winner.
And we love winners here. So
yes, we do.
Nice. All right, I'm ready for question number 3. If you're ready, I'm pretty
ready.
sure we have the correct answer here.
Question number 3, going up now.
What is the IP rating for Razer Phone 2? Again, what is the IP rating for Razer Phone 2? As you know, they added water resistance to the Razer Phone 2.
They did.
What's the IP rating?
Ooh, very cool,
Alan. Very cool, Alan, with the correct answer of 67. Correct. IP
cool,
67 or 67's just fine with me.
Mm-hmm.
Very
Perfect.
nice. Very cool. Very cool, Alan. Very cool. You win some very cool Google Play credit.
I like the name. Very cool, Alan.
Very cool, Alan. Very cool. It's very.
People putting 68 out there.
68. Sorry, guys. It ain't. All right. Let's move on. Question number 4, please.
Question number 4, going up now.
When is Google Plus for consumers shutting down officially? When is Google Plus for consumers shutting down? Oh boy.
Poor Google Plus.
I'm seeing George. Are we
George.
yeah. I'm taking George. August. Yeah, no big deal. August 2019. Absolutely correct. George, congratulations.
Good job, George. August 2019. Next
you,
August.
George.
August. Whatever.
Nice.
Not soon enough, says Tyler. And Luke at the same time.
Yeah. That's also a correct answer that I will accept. Very nice. Okay. So, 5th and final question.
5th and final question going up now.
What megapixel size camera is found on Google Home Hub? Again, what megapixel size camera is found on Google Home Hub? I'm gonna have to go with.
Well, Scott can't win again, but
Okay, Scott
Corey
already
right behind him.
Okay, who was right behind him?
Corey.
Corey, congratulations! You have the correct answer of 0. There is no camera on Google Home Hub. I tricked you.
Tim with the tricks. Tim with the tricks.
I had to specifically talk to Kellen. I was like, dude, can I do a trick question? I didn't even know. I didn't want people to get mad, but
Totally fine.
that was good.
We can
Corey,
play with
congratulations.
Corey said 0. We will accept 0. I mean, you could have wrote 0. None also, but 0 totally works.
0 is fine.
So
I'm going to place my email down in the comments section of this video in the little chat. And if you could, all of you winners, that includes Evan Brown, Scott McDonald, and Nick Fisher due to an error by Kellen.
Project Fire.
Yeah. Very cool, Alan, George Vanner, and Corey. If you could please email me at the address I just placed in the chat, I'd greatly appreciate it, and I will get you guys your sweet Google Play credit or iTunes code, whatever you want.
That's correct.
If you got an iPhone, which is totally fine. I mean, the 10R is pretty sweet.
10R is awesome with that 720p display. It's got that processor, that Bionic.
Nice. Well, this was good. It didn't take us 2 hours on
40.
Hour 40, not bad.
Yeah. Bossy guys is not cool. Sorry, Bossy. We just go with whatever's on our screen, and as you can tell, our screens line up together. So we go with what shows up on our screens. We know it's not the most exact of sciences ever, but it's worked. So
it has worked. As long as you and me have the same thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because we got the fastest stream there is. So, all right, great. So yeah, the site's gonna be review city for a while. We got Pixel phone reviews coming, Razer phone reviews coming, OnePlus 6T at some point. Home hubs are coming, Pixel stands are here. What else is going on? I'm like looking around my office.
I can say there are other things coming that we can't even talk about.
This is true. There are things coming that we can't even talk about.
Oh baby. A triple.
Such secrecy.
I love it.
Such secrecy.
So stick to.
Yeah. And thanks for joining us on this extra long and early show.
Too early. I'm out of here.
Too early.
Back to bed.
Yeah, back to bed. Back out of here. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. We episode 186 for Droid Life.
Peace.
Peace.